Hey everyone, how's it going? I wanted to do a video for you guys real quick because I told you that I would. My kids are watching cartoons again, and I'm sorry if you hear background noise. I just finished my workout, so I'm looking a little crazy, but I wanted to answer these questions that I get almost all the time. So the first one is on the 21-day fix. What if I'm still hungry? Which actually goes hand in hand with the second one is, what if I can't eat all of this food? Which is usually the one that I hear. That's okay. Your body is adjusting to having good nutrition, and things like donuts and Twinkies and stuff like that have a lot of calories for no nutrition. So your body processes them a little bit different. They're not as filling. Whereas the healthier things have a lot of nutrition and a lot more substance for less calories. So if you can't finish all of your containers, that's fine. Just try to rotate the ones that you're not getting. So don't use it as an excuse. I think Autumn says in the book to not use it as an excuse to not have your vegetables. What I try to do now is I try to set aside a day that I skip a yellow container, which is a huge sacrifice, a day that I skip a purple container, or things like that, until I make sure I've gotten all of my vegetables in and stuff like that. So that's the first one. The second one is if you are still hungry at the end of the day and you filled all of your containers, then you can have another green container or vegetable container. Now, this is assuming that you're not pregnant or breastfeeding. If you are, then you're going to need to adjust the formula a little bit. You're going to need to do the formula, and then before you get to the part where you find your bracket, you're going to add 500 calories to make sure you have enough for that baby. So, okay, the next one is, how do I keep track of my containers? Now, let me back up. There's an app. There are apps. I know the Apple app is free. I know that there are apps on Android for it that you can keep up with it. For me, it was really beneficial to do my meal plan the day before, or you can do it a week ahead of time. I wasn't that organized. So I just sat down the day before and real plainly wrote up how many containers I get and what my, plans were for the day. And I always planned dinner first. That was usually the most stressful. I wanted to make sure I had a meal for my husband and my kids to eat. So, okay, go ahead. Sorry. So that was something I did so that I would make sure that I didn't use up too many containers during the day when I could have saved some and made a really awesome dinner, if that makes sense. So that is the first one. That's another way you can keep track of your containers. That goes hand in hand with the next one. Is there a way for my significant other to do this with me? And absolutely. My husband does it with me most of the time, at least the eating portion. He kind of sometimes does different workouts for himself. But you don't need to buy a separate set of containers unless you just want to. You're OCD or you just want to. You don't need to spend the extra money on doing it if you don't want to. And then you can kind of do the same thing. What I did, my husband and I were in different brackets. So for me to make up the difference, like I said, I made planned dinner first. And what I did is I just doubled everything. So of the recipe that I would use for myself. So he was getting exactly the same portions I was getting in dinner. So for him, we had to make that up in breakfast and lunch for him. So I would pack more snacks for him throughout the day when he would go to work or whatever. And I would have fewer snacks or different snacks or whatever variety throughout the day. Or you can make it up with breakfast or whatever. So you can work together on those meals that you have at the same time, and then just try to make up the difference elsewhere. Another one I get a lot, well, it's not listed on here, but is your kids. What do your kids eat? And I will tell you honestly that I haven't forced my kids into my healthy lifestyle. They have come along with me pretty far. They will eat a lot more fruits and vegetables with their meal. They still want chicken nuggets a lot. They still want fish sticks a lot. Things like that, which honestly make it easier for me. And so I let them. And if your kids are doing that, like if you want to let that be, I decided that I needed to focus on myself before I could focus on making them healthy. It was going to be too overwhelming to do it all together. So that's honestly what I do. I do ask them which fruit and which vegetable they want with their dinner without asking them if they wanted fruits or vegetables. So that's been key. And I just try to stick with having produce as snacks around the house now. And this has been almost a year. So it's been like a transitional time. Like I stopped buying this and I started buying this. And I stopped buying this and started buying this. So don't feel like you have to go out tomorrow and replace all the snacks and stuff like that for your kids to feel like you're being an awesome mom. Don't feel that way at all. Another thing I get is, when is the best time to have Shakeology? Really, any time is the best time to have Shakeology. It really depends on what works for you. If you aren't using the Beachbody Performance post-workout formula, then you can have it after your workout. I like to have mine for breakfast because the morning is a crazy time for us, and I know that I'm getting a great start to my day, something that's delicious and nutritious, and I don't have to think about. So that works well for me. It's convenient. We're usually, hustling and bustling over here, and so to have that on the go is really beneficial. So that's when I have it. I know that there are people who have it after their workout for the benefit of replenishing those nutrients and also making sure that they get their workout in. They use that as like a treat. There are times when we're going out places and I'm afraid that I'm going to be tempted to eat a lot of junk, that I'll save it for later in the day and I'll drink it like shortly before we leave so that I have that in my system and my temptations are at bay. So it's really, there's not like an ideal time. It just depends on what works with your schedule. And similarly to when is the best time to work out. Some people are really good and they get up and work out in the morning. That doesn't really work for me. I'm not a morning person, and sometimes I try to do it once or twice a week maybe, but really your body, if you're working out, you're working out. And so it's not necessarily like, don't feel bad if you can't get it in at 5 a.m. I often do a lot of my workouts at 11:30 p.m. So don't feel bad if you don't get it in the morning, just as long as you're getting it in. So those, I hope, answer the majority of the questions that I get a lot. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks, guys. Bye.